Snellville City Council to order. We have a quorum. Ms. Linsky is absent because she has COVID, and the mayor is on vacation. First, we're going to go over the regular business meeting. We have Kenya Bland for the invocation.
Yes, can I also add her husband to it? Is it too late to add her husband?
Oh, they're
Because
both,
they both want it.
that one invocation, not two.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, at the special, not the application, no. At the,
And his,
no, as a invited guest.
oh, just the invited guest.
Yeah.
And his name is
Austin Bland.
Austin.
So he will be speaking with his wife, with Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And then their son Landon will do the pledge of allegiance.
Okay.
I love that.
Well, we could have, since we're having two with the,
No, it's
You sure?
fine. No, we'll let him do that.
Well, we kind of all join in anyway.
You wanted to do it?
No, I said that if we didn't have one, I would do it as a
okay.
backup,
Okay,
so
okay.
no.
okay, we have no ceremonial matters, minutes. Anybody have questions, corrections? Did anybody read them?
Of course.
Okay, we have no committee or department reports. We need an approval of the agenda. Consent agenda, approval of substantial changes to Manor Lake Assisted Living Facility, site plan RZ 22-03, LUP 22-03, SUP 22-04. This is on the consent agenda. Anybody have any heartburn?
No,
I think we took care of that the other
Yeah, that's what I
evening.
thought.
we reviewed it the other night.
Okay. New business, consideration and action on approval of Resolution 2022-08, calling for a referendum to submit to the electors of the city of Snellville, Georgia, the question of whether the city of Snellville, Georgia shall be authorized to permit and regulate the package sale of distilled spirits within the city pursuant to OCGA 3-4-41. You want to elucidate on that?
I just think you need to, main thing really is just to point out is that this is not the city making the decision, that this is simply authorizing the referendum to occur, and that the citizens will be the ones making the decision on whether or not package sales
Okay.
would happen. And then, I think if, no decisions, I would just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'd just leave it at that.
And it's not gonna regulate it. This isn't gonna regulate it. This
Right,
is-
that's what I was getting ready to
Yeah,
say, is
yeah.
that we're not gonna although we've informally discussed at the work session how we were gonna regulate it, that this has nothing to do with any of the regulations at this stage, because there's no point in that until it gets approved or not approved. So-
Well, you may want to just point out that there'll be a draft ordinance that will be available
Oh,
for
that's
the
right,
public
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
to view,
Yeah.
so they can,
That's true.
so they know what they're voting about, other
Right.
than just pure yay or nay.
Okay.
Good point, Todd, thank you.
Thank you. Normal council reports and public comment.
One thing, I have instructed the mayor pro tem on public comments. I think we've gotten a far afield that our codes on public comments specifically indicates that they are limited to 5 minutes, and they're limited to the chosen topic that they've indicated. I think we've ended up with lately some folks talking about everything on their mind, 20 different things that need to be addressed or that, and that's not the point of the public comment. So, also the decorum portion, so those are both codified by, so he's gonna read that at the beginning. So just something that's different that you aren't used to hearing. Kind of like we did the script last week, so just.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
No. Okay. I guess you're up.
I think you have a couple of pieces of paper in front of you. One is the update list on the town center. Now that we have bid pricing on the market building, the hall building. We're putting numbers into the lease and updating that. Gonna have a conversation with Jamal and Casto this week, so hopefully we can get that finalized. The Thrive lease is now in Ramon's hands, or will be
It
shortly?
will be in the morning. We've made the changes. Jay has approved it as well, so I think we've incorporated everything we're asked, so we'll kick it back to Ramon in the morning.
Good deal. There's really no reason for him not to sign. He's been involved in that discussion. It'll come back to us, and then the DDA will have their meeting on August 17th, and they should be able to finalize that lease. Let's see, also regarding the second floor value engineering, we're making progress on the Thrive space. All the subs and Reeves Young, they've gone through everything from AV to electrical to plumbing, trying to see where we can save some money. We'll be under the maximum amount that you guys approved a couple meetings ago. And as soon as that lease is signed, we'll be moving forward. Also, in that regard, Mark LeBlanc and the county, the changes have to go before the BOC to approve, and that should happen at their next meeting. Angela Parham and Mark will handle that. Sidewalk improvements, the other sheet you have in front of you is Larry's latest cost estimate of the 8,100 feet of sidewalk on the two streets. I can tell you that we've had probably 10 property owner meetings over the last couple of weeks with folks out there. Everybody is very positive about the sidewalk. We've explained to the folks on Pinehurst what the stand-up curb and gutter will do for them. There are, obviously, they have drainage concerns. This is not going to solve their drainage problems. It will help their drainage problems. We met with approximately 6 people and walked up and down the street the other day. I think they understand now how we're going to be picking up the water and bringing it down their side of the street. All of their driveways will have a slight slope, which should help move their water back to the street. And everybody that we have talked to, and then we all left on good terms with. They were very positive about the sidewalk. So, and the cost update. The one thing. Larry still has a little surveying to do after the last walkthrough. This number is so high because of the number right above it. It's a 30% contingency. There's no way we'll need a 30% contingency. But until he gets that final survey, and that number will come down. So gives you some good information. We'll bring more information back at every meeting going forward. Neighborhood beautification, cleanup, and landscaping. Barbara is ready. Had a meeting with her the other day. She's ready to move forward on this. She's given me a lot of names to contact. Going to meet with Craig in the morning and Matt. Try to get representatives from all these agencies out there, from blight busters to keep Gwinnett clean. And I think she mentioned Dave and Todd as far as being members there. Gretchen, she wanted to know if that was okay with you, since you've had some input there. But when she gets back on vacation, she'll probably talk to all of y'all. The cleanup groups are active again. We're in touch with them, but I think if we can get this committee together, get the county involved, get the Clean and Beautiful folks involved, I think we'll all be better off. We'll have a set, agreed upon plan, and we gotta get back out on the road. Zoning category review. The discussion the other night was helpful. I still say we're awaiting input on major development proposals. I've talked to Jeff Timler about the Rosebud development. He is making some changes and he wants to bring a revised plat back, which he's already revised one time. But some of the comments that you guys made the other night at the work session, rear access, garage doors, not having uniform garage doors everywhere, they are going back and looking at that part of the townhouse development in that Rosebud development. Package sales, the call for the election is on tonight's agenda. Still refining the draft ordinance. I think Barbara sent out an email that she had received from Nico to everybody just before this meeting. So still a lot of things to consider there. Economic development activities, the rehab work is ongoing at Cobblestone. I think Barbara mentioned we will have a Georgia Trend Focus article published very soon. I'm not sure if it will be in the September or October Georgia Trend magazine, but it will. It's not going to be totally on Snellville and the Grove, but will be a big part of it. We also have submitted a Mars Award for the Grove development. The application's no longer in progress. It went in this afternoon. We may be too soon since we are not built out, but we'll see where we get to there. Briscoe Park progress, Lisa's down there, but we had a really good pre-bid meeting for the site work and maintenance building interior build-out. We had 5 firms represented who were interested in bidding on that work. I hope they all do. I think those bids are due in a couple weeks. We had a record-breaking season for tennis in the pool. And Lisa, I think there is a senior center survey out. Is that not correct? Is it on, I think Brian put it on the website.
Yes, it's in multiple places and it went out to members, and so we're trying to hit non-members and members. I think we have it ending next Friday.
Okay.
So kind of
We,
want to have that to compare to the last one we did in 2021.
And we're still on track for a full report on the 22nd.
Yep.
Okay, and everybody will be back. That's basically all I've got.
Can I
Senior
ask-
center, you mean
can I-
active adult center?
What's that?
Senior center, you mean the active adult center?
Active adult.
The,
Can I ask a question? Where do we stand on the Reinhardt College situation? Has that been put on the back burner,
well,
or?
it has been put on the back burner.
Okay, I just wondered.
We
I hadn't
we
heard
needed to
it.
get the Thrive lease put in place.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
We talk to them maybe, every 3 or 4 weeks to let them know what the status is. Let's face it, our discussion was pretty broad and not very specific when we kind of tried to get down to an agreement. They've given it more thought. When we get this Thrive lease, I think we can bring them back in and see what they mean when they say, okay, we're willing to pony up some cash for the opportunity to be there, but they never really, they just weren't overly serious about it.
Right.
I think they were thinking it was going to be a
Gonna be free.
little different type of arrangement. So, but we stay in touch with them, and they know that the DDA meets on the 17th, and then we'll re-engage.
Okay.
Hopefully get a little more specific.
Okay.
Before we move on, let's get the attorney report.
Well, your legal team has been very busy. And Jay has prepared for you, after some consultation between me and John Dennis and Jason. This is just a draft for you all to just be perusing, but we are trying to come up with a overall master sign plan ordinance for the town center area. So basically, what this would do is, for any development that is in excess of 10 acres in the town center area, yeah, well, it's big, but it's supposed to be, because the idea is that when you have a large enough development, rather than trying to do one-offs on each site with the signage and for each of the businesses, that we'll have one master sign plan for the entire development, so everything looks the same and has consistency. So what we're going to do is we're going to require that they'll submit a master sign plan with all their signage that they would then submit, and that would go, just like any other variance, it would go to the planning commission for a public hearing, and then it would go to the mayor and council for a public hearing. But it just, rather than having to do, one, as each building gets done, having to have another application, this will streamline it for the entire road development, and it'll help again ensure that everything looks consistent.
So they go to planning commission, mayor and council only if they need a variance from this? Is that what you said? Is that, do I?
No,
Oh.
they have to submit, because we want to make sure
Okay,
that what's
so-
being submitted isn't haphazard
Okay,
and,
I got it.
hodgepodge. Something that can really destroy and it only is going to apply for the mixed-use development of that size. So, it just depends on how they grow. If it moves out towards the, another phase 2 area, or if it was to move over into M&P shopping center or something like that, then, those would be areas where it would begin to be applicable.
Okay.
But it's just for those large developments to keep that in check. Also, a couple other things just out there. So we, just today, there has been activity of several other cities reaching out on the listserv about for-rent neighborhoods. Wanted to know if anyone besides Cherokee had done it. The only responses were Jack Wilson responded that Tequila had taken a different approach. We looked at Tequila's. Basically what Tequila did was they just said any new developments over, I think 5 lots or something, have to have restrictive covenants that limit rentals to 20% or less. The Covington city attorney indicated they're in the process of doing something, but that's the only responses so far. I did not volunteer yet at this stage that we're working on it, but that's where that is. And then also, just a couple other things you all have gotten emails about. I know Barbara forwarded you the email about the request from Nico about local, giving them preferential bidding, not bidding, but treatment to locals. We're going to look at that. He referenced Commerce. Jay pulled Commerce's code, and it looks like what Commerce did was they gave first or preferential treatment to local owners of existing beer and wine licenses. So if you already had a beer and wine license. So that's a little bit different, but Jay's got to call in to the person that was referenced in that email just to see if we missed something. But, I'm sure that you all would prefer. I know in our purchasing policy, we have, a preferential for local people, but I just don't know if that's a reality. So we're going to look into that and see. Anything else we need to?
What does preferential treatment mean in regard to package store?
Well, I think that's what we don't know the answer to that. It's just the idea was, the person that contacted us was hoping that the Snellville resident might have a better opportunity than someone from somewhere else in Georgia that doesn't have a tie to the community. And, we're looking into that.
And it seems like Commerce took the approach that they trust the existing beer and wine people because they know they are at least in compliance in their city. They know them, so they gave them preferential treatment.
And then the other thing I'd forwarded you all a copy was Tricia Rollins had reached out to Johnny Green earlier today just to make sure everyone knew. I think I'd circulated an email before. So after the last council meeting, I immediately had when we heard that the gate was open, I immediately contacted them, and they put a lock on the gate, and I circulated a photo, I believe, of the lock on the gate. So Tricia sent a new picture today. Obviously, it looks like that lock has been torn off.
Oh, gosh. It was more like a cable or something.
Well, there was a
wasn't it?
cable with a lock.
Yeah.
There was a cable with a lock. Johnny was going to go, she asked Johnny to go out there, and I told Johnny that was fine for him to go out there and make contact. However, we've also received some information that there may be some homeless people that have been behind the flower shop. So I suspect that Johnny will be able to ascertain whether it looks like anyone's been living there, and if maybe that's actually what happened. And if that's what happened, then obviously there's a little bit of difference in how we're gonna approach that. But nonetheless, they still need to take care of putting up the fence that they promised to put up, the new fence back there, and, put something a little more secure. I understand that someone may be tearing it down, but they need to do something then to ensure that doesn't happen, so.
Yeah, the gate doesn't look real substantial.
No, it's not, it's in bad shape.
And we're still taking them to court.
Oh, they've already got a pending citation, so this would be a new violation, so,
I've heard there's homeless people
back there,
living
so.
behind there too.
So Barbara asked Johnny to check that out, so we'll see how that, but I just wanted you all to have all the information. So that's all I got.
Okay.
Real quick, regarding that signage plan, I just sent you guys, the current sign plan is submitted by Casta, so you'll have that to look at in regards to your signage guidelines.
Okay, that's it. Okay, next is discussion about mayor and council GMA training opportunities.
Okay, I met with Barbara last week sometime, and we had a few discussions going. One of the discussions that I had with her was that it would be wonderful if all of us could partake of an opportunity to take a course in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And maybe that will help us all understand a little bit more about the cultures, understand a little bit more how to identify racism and things like that. And maybe it will pull everybody closer, because sometimes it's just a matter of understanding, So I spoke to Barbara, she was like, okay, sounds like a good idea. So, and I spoke to Butch to get somebody from GMA, and you had Freddie Broom, that you spoke to. And Freddie Broom, I know him because I don't know him personally, but I took a course with him before, so I know how he is. And he's pretty okay. So I'm very open to having him come and from GMA and just work with us. I was telling Butch it would be good if initially we could all just have a conversation with him before he just comes and just presents, because no size fits all, right? Everybody's going to have a different take on what they see or what they believe, so that way he has something to work from, right? He said he is different, and I looked at the video you sent me, but that's for next week. So I don't want to go
He'll be
into
here
it.
on the, 2 weeks from today,
Yeah.
the 22nd.
22nd, yeah.
He has a
He
short
is
video,
coming,
and he'll just kind of go over the program that he's set up
100%, yeah.
at
Is
GMA.
that before the council meeting or what?
In the work
In the
session.
work
In the
session.
work session, okay.
So, and anybody can come. I was thinking on maybe having to include all of council, department heads, also Kelly McAloon, Executive Director of Tourism and Trade, because she deals with the public. So that would be good as well. And anybody else, I guess, who wants to, sit in and learn, that'll be, it's open to anybody really, but,
Okay.
And there are options out there.
Yeah.
Before we even started this conversation, I think the Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Warner asked about a diversity workshop that GMA is putting on in October. And then when we talked with Freddie, we talked about, what else was out there. There are options.
There are different
You guys had
options.
asked about, getting registered there, and that needs to be part of this whole discussion. This is, I'll go ahead and send this around. This is what I gave you, Solange, which is
oh yeah, you do.
outline of one of Freddie's courses that he put on for I think the city of McDonald. And it's something that you may want to ask him about when he comes next time. Just look at this, ask questions,
Right.
but we do have options. We have the workshops that are set up on the schedule, and then we have a tailored potentially a tailored 3-hour workshop here for,
Because I know when I took his course, it was like almost 6 hours long. It was a long course. It was a
This
very
one-
long course last year.
this one's 3, so
yeah.
you wouldn't be asking, too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel if it can be tailored to our city, because not every city is the same, I think that would be a start.
Yeah,
Have to
you'll be
tailor
here
it
next
to
time,
us.
that'll be a good start.
All right. Anything else, anybody?
Do we have a date for training on that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. He's just gonna make a presentation
On the
on the
22nd.
22nd, so we have some idea where he's going with it, and then we can
Okay.
determine what we want to do from there.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay? Nobody else has anything? I'll have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?